Hello, y'all. This is Julian Rico. Welcome to college football week number 11. Yeah, unfortunately, we had sad news, so I will get that sad news at the end. So let's get started. Let's start with the Friday games. We got Cal taking on Wake Forest, 8 p.m. Eastern on ACC Network. Cal is a 7-point favorite. Now, this is a night game in North Carolina. Now, both Cal and Wake Forest are 4-4. One of them is going to get their fifth win. I'm going to go with Wake Forest. And this is, again, one of those issues. You got a West Coast team traveling to the East to take on a team like Wake Forest. And I say Wake Forest wins it. Give me Wake Forest. 30. I'm going to say 24-16 over Cal. Iowa taking on UCLA at 9 p.m. Eastern on Fox. Iowa is a 6-point favorite, and Iowa's coming off a big win against Wisconsin. Now go to the Rose Bowl and take on UCLA. Who never thought UCLA upsetting Nebraska? He did. Deshaun Foster getting that big win on the road against Matt Rule, who's a former Panthers head coach. Thank you, Deshaun Foster, to beat our former head coach. And they get a big win in there. But I think the road comes to an end. I'm going to go Iowa in this one. I just think Iowa's the complete team than UCLA. And, of course, Iowa's going to travel to the West Coast in California. Give me Iowa. I'm going to go with a close game. Give me a 42-29 game. I think it's close, but I think Iowa keeps it with a win. Rice taking on Memphis at 9 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. Memphis is an 8-point favorite. How about this? Rice pulling off the upset win against Navy. Now going to Memphis in this one. I'm going to go Memphis. They win it by 13 in this one. New Mexico taking on San Diego State at 10:30 p.m. Eastern on FS1. San Diego State is a 2.5-point favorite, and they're going up against the Lobos. So, you know what? I think this is the time we go say San Diego wins it by 5. So, yes, give me San Diego winning it by 5. All right, here are the games we will see on Saturday, including the game of the week, which we'll talk about that later. Purdue taking on the second team in the country, Ohio State, at 12 p.m. Eastern on Fox. Ohio State is a 38-point favorite after getting a big win against Penn State on the road. Can you keep that momentum going against Purdue? I'm going to say that keeps going. Ohio State wins it by 39. Fourth team in the country, Miami, travels to Georgia Tech and take on the Yellow Jackets at 12 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. Miami's an 11-point favorite. You know what? This is a trap game because Miami's coming off a big win at home against Duke. Now here's where the trap comes in. I'm going to say Miami is going to win this. I want to say the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets, but I'm going to go with Miami. They're going to win this game by 6. So we'll probably get a game-winning touchdown, and they win it by 6. Florida Gators traveled to Austin to take on the 5th team in the country, Texas, at 12 p.m. Eastern on ABC and ESPN+. Texas is a 21.5-point favorite. Texas are coming off a bye. Of course, if you know their last game, so close to getting another upset loss to Vanderbilt. Yep. And then the Gators so close to get that upset win against Georgia. However, today they announced Billy Napers will return as Gators head coach for the 2025 season, which as a Gators fan, I don't know about this decision because I would have gone out and find a coach who would probably bring the Gators back to the promised land, and that is a national championship. but I'm going to go with Texas in this one. I think Texas keeps it a good game, but I think they win it by 24. Minnesota travels to New Jersey to take on the Rutgers of Scarlet Knights at 12 p.m. Eastern on NBC. Minnesota's a 6-point favorites, and they're coming off a big win against Illinois, and they are in a bowl game this year, so congrats to them. Now going to Rutgers, and can the Rutgers get back in the winning column? I'm going to say Rutgers do it. I think they go at home, the birthplace of college football. They win it 24-21. Close game. I think they win it really close. Syracuse taking on Boston College at 12 p.m. Eastern on DCW Network. Boston College is a 2-point favorite. Syracuse, welcome to bowl season. So you guys get a chance to play in the bowl. But now travel to Massachusetts to take on Boston College. You know what? I love Kyle McCord, Frank Brown, and that offense. Look at what Frank Brown has turned this team around as a head coach. I like the chance of Syracuse in this one. Give me Syracuse by 5. West Virginia travels to Cincinnati to take on the Bearcats at 12 p.m. Eastern on FS1. Cincinnati is a 5-point favorite. So Cincinnati coming off, I believe, 2 weeks ago losing to Colorado. And that was a heartbreaker, losing to that team. Now they get West Virginia. And it's West Virginia for real. Now they're 4-4. I'm going to go Cincinnati. I think this is going to be a high-score game. But I think Cincinnati will keep this as a high-score game. They will win it by 6. Navy taking on South Florida, 12 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. Navy's a 3-point favorites. Now Navy's coming off not only losing to Notre Dame, but lost to Rice. Nobody expected that to happen. Now taking on the South Florida Buffaloes in this one. I'm going to go with Navy. I think they get the response win, a must-win there. So give me Navy by 4. All right, this is a head-scratcher here. Georgia, the 3rd team in the country, takes on 16th team in the country, Ole Miss, at 3:30 p.m. Eastern on ABC and ESPN+. Georgia's a 3-point favorite? Okay, let me get this straight. Georgia's a 3-point favorite? And Ole Miss is a 16th-ranked team in the country, and you're telling me there's a chance that Ole Miss upsets Georgia? After Carson Beck threw 3 picks against that Gators defense in which nobody saw that coming? And Ole Miss, well, they just put 63 on Arkansas, so that doesn't matter. This is going to be a fun game. I'm going to still pick Georgia. I think they're still trying to prove themselves. They're still that #1 team in the country. Give me Georgia. I'm going to say Georgia still wins it by 6 in this one. Michigan take on the 8th team in the country, Indiana, at 3:30 p.m. Eastern on CBS. Indiana's a 14.5-point favorites, and they should be favorites by 2 touchdowns. And they're in the college football playoff projected bracket, which they earned that. But can they keep in toes with Oregon for hopefully a Big Ten championship game? Well, taking on the Michigan Wolverines, and you know who beat the Hoosiers in that game last year? Sherrone Moore in Michigan. But that year was in the past. I think the Hoosiers will win this. Give me the Hoosiers winning it by 14. 17th team in the country, Iowa State, taking on Kansas at 3:30 p.m. Eastern on FS1. Iowa State is a 3-point favorite. Here is why they're 3-point favorites. Because they're going to not Kansas Jayhawk Stadium, but they're going to Jet High Field in Arrowhead, home of the Kansas City Chiefs. So we could expect to see an upset here. But, I think this is where the Big 12 championship is going to come down to who's going to get the spot. Is it going to be BYU, Iowa State, Kansas State, and Colorado? Or will it be actually one of those games you go, yeah, it's no surprise, Iowa State wins it? I think this is a good game. I'm going to go Iowa State in this one. I know people are going with Kansas in this one, but I'm going to go Iowa State winning it by 2. 23rd team in the country, Clemson, travels to Virginia to take on the Virginia Tech Hookers. 3:30 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. Clemson's a 6.5-point favorite after losing to Louisville. Now Clemson is looking at SMU and they're hoping they can lose, but they're hoping Miami can lose so they can get themselves in the ACC championship game. But it looks like their chances may not happen if SMU at least loses one more game and Clemson keeps winning. Going to be tough against Virginia Tech, and I think Clemson keeps it a will-fought win against Virginia Tech. Give me Clemson by 4. 25th team in the country, Army, taking on North Texas. 3:30 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. Army's a 4-point favorites. Now, this is a trap game because North Texas is playing really good football. Army's an 8-0 team, and they're ranked 25 with the College Football Committee. All eyes on that team. Give me Army. Army wins it by 5. Duke taking on NC State at 3:30 p.m. Eastern on ACC Network. NC State is a 3-point favorite. Now, Duke is coming off a loss to Mario Cristobal in Miami, while NC State is trying to get through this season. But I'm going to go Duke. I think Duke gets that big win against NC State. A must-win for the Blue Devils. San Jose State taking on Oregon State at 3:30 p.m. Eastern on DCW Network. Oregon State is a 3-point favorite, and now, let me say this. Once Oregon State plays Washington State, we're now going to find out who's in first place in the Pac-12. That is going to be awesome to watch. I'm going to go Oregon State in this one. Give me the Beavers by 4. All right, this is the game a lot of people are going to be keeping an eye on. 20th team in the country, Colorado, travels to Texas, take on the Texas Tech Red Raiders. 4 p.m. Eastern on Fox. Colorado's a 4-point favorite. Now, this game, look, I would watch this game as my second game to watch before the game of the week. But this game, this should have been a game of the week for myself. But Colorado's coming off a bye. Now is their chance. They're favored on all their last games. Can they keep it going to catch up with BYU, Iowa State, Kansas State for the Big 12 championship game? It wouldn't be easy to take on the Texas Tech Red Raiders, who upset Iowa State. It's got to be a sneaky game, but I'm going to say Colorado on the road gets a huge win. They're going to smack Texas Tech. Not smack, but they're going to find a way to smack Texas A&M. I'm going to say Colorado wins it by 5 points. South Carolina taking on Vanderbilt at 4:15 p.m. Eastern on ACC Network. South Carolina's a 4.5-point favorite. South Carolina's coming off a big win against Texas A&M at home. Now go to Nashville to take on Vanderbilt. You know what? I'm going to go South Carolina. I think they keep the train rolling. They win this game by 6. Maryland taking on the first team in the country, Oregon, 7 p.m. Eastern on the Big Ten Network. Oregon's a 26-point favorite, and they should be. Give me Oregon by 28. I think Dylan Gabriel in that offense keeps it going, and they should be in a great position of clinching a Big Ten championship to Indiana. Mississippi State taking on the 7th team in the country, Tennessee, at 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. Tennessee's a 24.5-point favorite. I'm going to go Tennessee. Mississippi State, sorry, put your team in the trash can, but Tennessee wins it by 30. All right, let's get to these quick picks before we get to the game of the week. Let's start. UCF taking on Arizona State, 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. Arizona State is a 2.5-point favorite. Give me Arizona State by 4. Oklahoma State travels to Texas to take on TCU, 7 p.m. Eastern on FS1. TCU is an 11-point favorite, and TCU needs a win to be bowl eligible. So give me TCU by 6 in this one. FSU, which is Florida State, taking on Notre Dame at 7:30 p.m. Eastern on NBC. Notre Dame is a 26-point favorite. I think Florida State will keep it close, but I think Notre Dame will win this by 20. Oklahoma taking on 24th team in the country, Missouri, at 7:45 p.m. Eastern on ACC Network. Oklahoma's a 3-point favorite. You know what? I think this is going to be Oklahoma's biggest win of the in their ACC campaign. Jerry, give me Oklahoma Sooners by 5 against Missouri. Washington taking on the 6th team in the country, Penn State, at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern on Peacock. Penn State is a 13.5-point favorite, and this is a must-win for Penn State. Give me Penn State by 10. Nevada taking on 12th team in the country, Boise State, at 8 p.m. Eastern on Fox. Boise State is a 24-point favorite. Give me Boise State. I think Ashton Jesse tries to keep up with Barry Sanders' record. So give me Boise State by 28. Virginia taking on 18 team in the country, Pittsburgh, 8 p.m. Eastern on ACC Network. Pittsburgh is a 7.5-point favorite. You know what? This is a trap game again, and Pitt will get that done by 6. 9 team in the country, BYU, travels to Utah to take on the Utes at 10:15 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. BYU is a 3.5-point favorite. I'm going to go with BYU by 4. Utah State taking on the 21st team in the country, Washington State, 10:30 p.m. Eastern on the DCW network. Washington State is a 20.5-point favorite. Give me Washington State by 15 points. All right, game of the week. It is the 11th team in the country, Alabama, traveling to the Bayou to take on the Bayou Tigers. Yes, you call it the LSU Tigers. 7:30 p.m. Eastern on ABC and ESPN Plus. Alabama's a 3-point favorite. Now, this is an elimination game, and maybe you win this, you got a chance for the ACC championship game. You lose, there's no coming back, for assuming no chance for a college football playoffs. I'm going to say Alabama on the road, winners in this one, 28-24 Alabama. That is it for today, guys. I got that game of the week also, but of course, I want to get to the sad news, and this hurts a lot. So currently watching Thursday Night Football, so you stay tuned to watch that on Amazon. Kirk Herbstreit has announced, how do I get to hear this, but I think everyone has heard this. He has announced the death of his service dog, Ben, who was beloved for crashing the football. If you have seen him, go check it out, man. The dog, Ben, is so fun to look at. He goes to college game day. He goes, sees the students, and all you can see is he's enjoying what everyone has been looking at. And if you're looking, hopefully you bring yourself a dog to go for a college football game. Ben was the one who had it, so he goes to every college football game, including one of those big games. Big loss here. One of them was one of those quotes, or had this happen. Ben had cancer that spread throughout his organs, and at the quote here, there was nothing left we could do. We had to let him go, and I'll probably post you the message that he sent to all of us about this news. Get more likes, please, for Ben, please, and Kirk. It's a hard loss, but I have my dog too, and if I were to take my dog to an NFL game or college game, I would bring him and do it all every Saturday, every Sunday, and he will be there watching the game. So give me those thumbs, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and yeah, we all support Ben, and for Kirk, this video goes to you, man. I'm sorry about the loss, but it hurts. I know it's a 20-minute video, but sad news always has to come. Again, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel. We'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.